Hello everyone, my name is Putu Ruby Aprilartana with student ID 2415101010, and here's my friend.
My name is Madi Arya Astawa with my student ID 2415101006.
So now we will make a presentation about material vector subspace. So this is for the first question will be explained by me. Okay, so for the first question is proof that to check whether W is a subspace of a vector space V sufficient to verify only the closure axioms explain why we do not to check the other axioms. Closure axiom is under addition and then under scalar multiplication. And now we have to prove that subspace W is in vector space V using axiom closure. Okay, so we have U and then V is part of subspace W. So for the under addition is U plus V. Of course, if you because U and V is the real number, so when you add U and V, it will make a real number, so it will be a part of W. So U plus V is a part of subspace W. And then this is for the under addition, and then for under scalar multiplication, which means okay. So I will put a scalar of K. So that is a scalar K, and then I will take one of vector from subspace W. So I will take U, and then because K is a real number, so when we multiply the scalar of K with vector U, of course it will be part of W. So it means subspace W is in vector space V. So other than closure axiom, there is five axiom. So this is the other axiom that can prove the W is a subspace of vector space V. Why we do not to check the other axioms? Because for closure addition, we also can prove the axiom of associative and commutative. And then so because closure addition is prove the axiom associative and commutative, so it means commutative and associative will be proof. Okay, and then for the axiom closure under scalar multiplication, it will prove the associative and distributive. So it means the distributive is proof. Okay, what about the other axioms like inverse and identity? So to check the inverse and identity, we can use the under scalar multiplication. So we can change the scalar K to be 0. So if K equals 0, and then we multiply 0 with vector U, it will make a 0 value, and then because and then it can prove the identity axiom. Okay, and then what about the inverse? Okay, for the inverse is also we can prove for the from scalar multiplication, but we have to change from the K equals 0 to be K equals minus 1, and then we multiply with vector U. So it will make the minus u, so it can prove the inverse axiom. So yeah, that's why we just need to prove the closure axiom under addition and under scalar multiplication, because the other axiom is inherited by this closure axiom. Now we will continue to the next question. For the question number 2 is prove that all vectors lying on a straight line in R3 form a subspace in R3. So because R3, so since R3 is dimensional XYZ, so it means any line that passing through the R3 is automatically contained in R3. But now I will make a proof with with closure axiom. So we have K is 1, 2, 3, and then K is element of R. So for the addition closure, we have U vector is K1. So if we multiply the first vector, so it will be K1, 2 K1, and then 3 K1. And then we also need the other vector to make an addition. So we have vector V is K2, and then there is L. So which means K2, 2 K2, and then 3 K2. And then now we will add the two vector. So it will be like this: K1, K2 plus 2 K1 K2 plus 3 K1 and K2. So it means vector U plus vector V is 2 multiply 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so since the K1 and K2 is part of real number, so it means the addition closure it will prove. Now we will go to the next closure. So the next closure is multiply closure. Okay, so we have C is real number, and then V vector V like this, and then for the multiply closure will be C times vector U. So it will be like this: C K 1, 2, 3. So it means like this: C and K. Okay, so C K this time. So it will be like this, and then since CK is a real number, so it's mean the multiply closure is proof. So now I will make a coordinate vector for the multiply closure and then addition closure. So we have coordinate Cartesius coordinate for 3-dimensional, so X, Y, and then Z. So for the multiply closure, let's take vector U. So when we use the multiply closure, so it means the U will be multiplied by scalar. So I will take scalar C, and then the vector will be look like this. So this is the vector U, and then for the vector and then for the CU will be like this. Okay, so this is the illustration for the Cartesius coordinate multiply closure, and then for the additional closure, we will take three-dimensional again. So there is a u and then phi. So for the u plus phi will be like this, u plus phi. So as you can see for the illustration multiply closure and additional closure is straight line in dimensional 3. This means it's close for closure axioms. Okay, so for the question number 3 is explain why a plane passing through in R3 has the equation ax plus by plus c z equals 0, where a, b, c element of R and x, y, z is represent the coordinate of points in R3. Is that plane a subspace of R3? So yeah, the equation is ax plus by and plus c z equals 0. So now I will make a coordinate of three-dimensional. So this is x, this is y, and then this is z. So of course, from this coordinate, the origin, I mean the starting point, is 0. So if we use this coordinate, so it means x, y, and z is equals 0. And then if we input the value to the formula, so it means a 0 plus b 0 plus c 0 is equals 0. And why we use this coordinate? Okay, so I will make an example if we don't use this coordinate. So let's change the coordinate of x will be 1. So if we use this coordinate, so it means x equals 1, y equals 0, and then z equals 0. Okay, so if we input the coordinate into the formula, so a x minus 1, and then plus b y minus 0, and then plus c z minus 0 equals 0. And then we continue the equation will be like this: ax minus a plus by plus c z equals 0. So if we replace the 0 with so if we move the minus a into the right equation, so it will be like this: ax plus by plus cz equals a. Okay. For the previous coordinate, x is equals 0, so it means the vector that passing through this means the plane that passing through the in R3 will be not offset. But when we change the one of the coordinate is not equal 0, from this example x is equals 1, so the plane that passing through in R3 will be offset, because the formula will be because the formula is not exist. The plane will be shifted away from the R3. So yeah, that's all from me for the question number 1, number 2, and number 3. And then for the other question will be explained by my friend Arya.
Okay, let me continue the explanation of the third question. The third question says that there are a set of vectors named S that contains of vector u, v, and w that consisting of linearly independent vectors in R3. The first question is to show that that the system of linear equation K1U plus K1 K2 V plus K3W is equal to 0. That this system of linear equation has one only solution, which is the trivial solution. To prove that this is true, suppose that we have two vectors that not linearly independent. There is a vector u, which contains u1 and u2, and vector v that is the multiplicity of vector u. If we make the linear combination of both of this vector and the scalar is equal 0, it will has many solutions as long as the C1 is equal to minus 2C2. So the only way of make this linear combination equal to 0 is when all of this scalar K1, K2, and K3 is equal to 0. Here's the second and the third question of the question number 4. The second question is the previous set is a spanning set of R3, and the third question is previous set is a base in R3. One of the example of this linear independent vectors in R3 is this unit vector, this standard unit vector in R3. So this vector is a spanning set of R3 because all of this vector can be considered as a base in R3, because this vector is a base in R3. So we can conclude that this vector is also a spanning set in R3. Okay, so let's continue to the fifth question. The fifth question says that if there is a set of 3 vectors in R3 that is not linearly independent, which is one vector is the multiplicity of another vector. This is the example of the set of vectors. So the second vector is the multiplicity of the first vector, and also the third vector is the multiplicity of the first vector. If we calculate the solution of this homogen system of linear equations, we will get infinitely many solutions in this system of linear equations. And the parametric solution is x1 will be equal to minus 2t minus 3s. Continue to the last question. The last question is the vectors you construct in question 4 a base of R3? The answer is yes, because the set of vectors I made in the fourth question is the standard base vector of R3, which consists of 3 unit vectors.
That's all the presentation from our group, and I hope our presentation is clear. Okay, bye.